Bill Lee and Marsha Blackburn will lead our state both here at home and in Washington. Let's take a look at what their priorities are and what they plan to do when they take office. After months of campaigning, Tennesseans have spoken.
Tennesseans want to make certain that they have leaders who are not going to kick a can down the road on the issues.
Let's focus on those issues. On guns, both say they're strong supporters of the Second Amendment.
Oftentimes there's a lot of political pressure to take away rights from law-abiding citizens because of the actions of criminals. That's the wrong approach.
Senator-elect Blackburn says she wants to leave it up to individual school districts to decide whether teachers are armed.
This is something that your local law enforcement and your school systems are going to work through.
Can we expect marijuana to be legalized under Governor Bill Lee? That's very unlikely.
I'm absolutely opposed to legalizing marijuana. You know, we have an opioid addiction problem that is ravaging this state. And it was created in large part by the medical community and the pharmaceutical community.
Lee says he wants to fight the opioid epidemic by reducing the number of drugs in the state.
A systemic problem of too many prescriptions, too many pills in a prescription, too many pain clinics.
Blackburn campaigned on being a close ally of President Trump. We can expect her support to continue.
Tennesseans overwhelmingly supported President Trump. They want to see his agenda finished. They know they're going to get that from me, and they gave me their vote.
Both will spend the remainder of the year with their transition teams moving into their new roles. Both will take office in January. Guys, we'll send it back to you.